Hi foodie friends, my name is Jessica Ann and today we are making mini beef Wellingtons. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe, comment so you get all of our new videos. They come out every single Wednesday. So beef Wellington, it is a traditional English dish that is usually made with an entire beef fillet wrapped in puff pastry, prosciutto, and a mushroom paste. It is a pretty intense dish to make. It is hard to keep that puff pastry nice and crunchy without getting a little soggy from the meat and other things in it. But I have a trick for you. It is one of my favorite recipes from my book, Beef It Up, and we make them into little bite-sized bits. And we even add one ingredient that is not in the traditional beef Wellington. To get started, we're gonna start with our mushroom paste. And to make that, we will need a food processor. About 1 cup of roughly chopped white mushrooms. You can use other more exquisite or exotic mushrooms like oyster mushrooms or even portobellos if you want a nice rustic flavor, some more earthy tones. We have 1 garlic clove roughly chopped and 1 shallot roughly chopped. I do add just a dab of olive oil here so that it helps all of that come together. Put it in the food processor and pulse until it makes a paste. With mine, I have to scrape down the sides from time to time, but it is starting to get pretty fine. Might not be a full paste, you're not looking for like pate style, but you do want it to be very well incorporated so we don't see little bits of shallot in it. Okay, we have a nice paste going in here. I also have a skillet coming up to a high heat. I'm gonna add 1 tablespoon of unsalted butter. The trick here is that I want to get out all of the moisture from the mushrooms, the shallot, and the garlic, and all 3 of those carry a lot of moisture in them, but add in a little bit more flavor. I have butter in the skillet, which will add in flavor to those, but the olive oil that I added to the paste is gonna make sure that it doesn't burn with the butter. So those 2 things work together here. I'll take this out, put it right on into that skillet. The butter all the way in there, and then mash it down so it's kind of a flat mush. As much of it as you can get to touch the skillet, then you're gonna get moisture out faster. This process will take about 5 to 10 minutes, so be patient. And if it gets brown on it, if it gets a little crunchy, that is a good sign. That means that you're achieving the moisture out. The brown creates acidity and gives it more flavor. You're doing a good job. Okay, we have a nice brown paste. It is reduced, I'd say probably about by half, and it is very fragrant, which means it's ready to go. We have 2 more ingredients to get added to this. We're gonna put about a teaspoon of Dijon mustard in here. If you wanted to do a whole grain or you really like mustard, feel free to add a little bit more. And a teaspoon of fresh thyme leaves. You can use dried, but fresh is just so much better. Mash that into your paste. And then we're gonna start filling our little pastry cups. Okay, so we've made our paste. Now we have to build out our little tartlets. We're gonna call them beef Wellington tartlets. And we're gonna start with puff pastry, which is traditionally used in a beef Wellington as well. This is a refrigerated puff pastry sheet. I need 12 little squares, or these are gonna be more like rectangles, but that's okay. So I'm gonna cut one down the half, and then a half, and another half, and then right down where they fold anyway, the fold lines there. Okay, perfect and easy. You don't need to roll it out at all, just unfold it. And now I have a muffin tin. This muffin tin is greased with vegetable shortening. I like that better than using a spray or butter. It doesn't leave a residue on my pans and it's easy to pop out without any additional flavoring. Take each one of these, and you can pull them apart a little bit with your hands, but you really don't need too much, and press them into the muffin tins. They don't have to be perfect, and they don't have to go all the way up the sides of the muffin tin. Just make sure that at least the bottom is covered, and pinch them in there a little bit so that they get some good stickage in the tin. They are puff pastry, so they will puff. Okay, the next step is not in a traditional beef Wellington, and it is cream cheese. You could also use goat cheese if you wanted to, but I like the rich creaminess that it adds to these little bites. It's really good. You could also use a scallion or a chive flavored cream cheese, and I haven't tried it yet, but I'm pretty sure one of the everything bagel cream cheese mixes would probably be pretty tasty with this flavor profile. Next up is our paste that we worked so hard on. So all you want to do here is evenly divide that paste between all of your cups. Doesn't have to be in there perfect. When we add in the steak bites, they'll even it all out and press it all in. Okay, and lastly, the steak, because it is beef Wellington. So this is a great recipe to use leftover beef, unless you're like my house and there's never any leftover beef. You just cook an extra New York strip. So filet mignon is a fairly expensive cut of beef. It's beef tenderloin. It's the most expensive next to like a rib roast, but you can use any kind of beef you want here. So if you have shredded beef left over from a pot roast, if you've got a New York strip left over, if you just want to sizzle up one in a cast iron pan, be my guest. You don't need a lot of it to feed a lot of people, so it's also a little bit lighter on your wallet, if you will. So I already chopped these up, salt, pepper. I browned them in a skillet because I was using them just for this purpose. And now I'm getting 4 to 5 pieces of these little bite-sized pieces of beef into each muffin well. What I will say is don't cook it to the temperature you actually want it, because it's like a twice baked beef now. So make sure that when you do it in a skillet, or if you are cooking it with the intention of this, go more towards the rare side, because afterwards it will cook a little bit longer in the oven, and then you don't want totally full, well done, or at least I don't want totally well done beef. Okay, there we go. We're gonna throw these into the oven at 350 for about 17 minutes until we see the edges of these little puff pastries start to puff and brown. Our Wellington bites have come out of the oven. They smell delicious as predicted. The puff has puffed. There is one more element that I like to add to mine. Well, garnish, and one more element that is not traditional in beef Wellington. You know me, I am a saucy gal, and these little Wellington bites are no exception. So I've got more Dijon mustard, which is a flavor commonly found. We already put that into our sauce. And this is plain Greek yogurt. I use this all the time instead of sour cream. So you could also use sour cream. You could even use mayonnaise and make it more of like a mustard aioli, if you will. Then you sound really fancy, right? I mean, Wellington is pretty fancy. Okay, just mix that together until no streaks remain. And put a little dollop on each one of your Wellington bites. Okay, they look good, they smell good, but they are not pretty yet. And you know me, I like pretty food. So we're gonna do pepper, flaky sea salt for a little bit of crunch and to amplify all the natural flavors, and of course parsley to give it a little bit of green and color. And there you go. Mini beef Wellington bites. You could serve 2 or 3 of these as an entree for dinner. You could make them as an appetizer for a party or game day. Any way you put them, they're fun, they're fancy, and they taste delicious. From my kitchen to yours, have a great day.